All right. You're here. You made it. You arrived. You're at the VIP lounge hanging out with us on the VIP podcast. So glad you're here. We've got an incredible guest lined up for you in Steve Cote, and I can't wait to get him out of the waiting room and into the picture so you can hear this conversation with us. We're going to be talking about culture, talking about technology, change management, and he's not only the president of Chalmers Insurance Group, but he's also a coach. And so I want to dive into that a little bit and see what that actually means for not only his agency but his personal life. We're going to get into it. Steve Cote, welcome to the program. I'm so glad you're here hanging out with us in the VIP lounge at the VIP podcast. Welcome.
Hey, I am honored to be a part of this. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things about you, and I've heard that that you're a smart guy, that you're pretty even keel, that you run a good ship. I'd love to know what is your hidden talent? Do you have a hidden talent that we don't know about?
Well, I think everybody knows my hidden talent, but you and Sid do not.
Oh.
And that is that. Well,
and that means the audience probably doesn't either.
Well, I've coached youth basketball for 32 years.
Wow.
The last 18 years have been at the high school level. I've been the boys varsity coach, and I'm currently a member of the girls varsity coaching staff. And 2 years ago, our little school won its third state title in the 100-year history of the school. So that's. If I'm not sitting at my desk or in my car going to see a client, I'm probably at the high school.
You're touching a hot button here with me, so we may have to talk off air.
I was going to say, wait, now hold on. I'll tell you why, because Heath will not brag, but his son is honestly one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. He's got a huge following locally in Arkansas, and he's all over TikTok and Instagram. And I think he could go pro at some point. So you guys have actually a lot in common.
Yeah, we may have to talk off air a little bit. If I'm not here at Vertafore or working, on this kind of stuff, I'm usually in a gym with him doing cone drills and working on rebounding or at AAU tournaments. So yeah, we'll talk off air on some of that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
I will say his hidden talent is a talent.
It's a true talent. Most people would have said like balancing something on my head or no, he's legit winning state titles.
So did you play? Are you a basketball player?
just at the high school level. I did play college baseball for a couple years. Not very well. Once I determined that the highest level I was going to get was third string bullpen catcher, I decided that I would do other things, but and the Boston Red Sox weren't calling me. So
so now we have another thing in common.
Lost.
I'm a huge Red Sox fan, so we have another thing. We might become best friends.
Love it.
That's awesome.
I will take credit for this introduction.
Yes, you should.
Right.
Yes, you should.
Okay, let me get into it because Steve and I have talked a little bit before, and I loved hearing how you're guiding and leading your agency through this digital transformation. Can you talk to me a little bit about the story of Chalmers Group? When you came on board, what you saw in the agency, where you wanted to. I think every leader has a path that sort of unfolds before them, and so maybe talk a little bit about that path, and then ultimately how you brought technology in.
Yes. So the Chalmers agency is entering its 167th year. We are 100% family owned and operated, no affiliations whatsoever, fiercely independent, something that we take great pride in. And essentially my journey with Chalmers started in August of 2000. And at that time we had two locations, one in Maine, our mothership that had been in Bridgeton, Maine since 1857. And then another small agency in New Hampshire. And in 2003, we really started a journey of acquiring agencies. And it was more of other local agencies who did not have perpetuation plans that identified us as being a good steward of their clients, and it was basically knock on door and handshake agreements. Hey, we'd like you to buy our agency, and that's really what happened. So from 2003 to 2015, we acquired 8 agencies, and all those agencies came with no management system, a similar management system, a completely different type of management system, all different policies and procedures. And in 2014, when we transitioned from the 3rd generation to the 4th generation, we made a lot of decisions, and one of them was to migrate to one management system, one set of policies and procedures. And our model is community-based. It is a more expensive model to have small local offices, no service centers. We're known for being local and knowledgeable and involved in the communities. We think that it's a differentiator for us, so that's how we're going to continue. But our hope in adopting technology is it's going to create efficiencies. And so this is really where we are right now.
I actually want to kind of jump in here because he's talking about that small community mentality. Mm-hmm. Is that something you guys kind of pride yourselves on, is still being that local place that people can go and feel like they have the mom and pop shop?
100%. I am highly respectful of all independent insurance agencies, large and small, and how they create their experience and tailor their model to be what's best for them. I think with all of the mergers and acquisitions that are going on right now in the industry, what we're finding is that there is a very large underserved market. And by that I mean a lot of agents have migrated upstream, and there are personal and small business clients who do feel underserved, and that's been our bread and butter, and that's basically we find that they really appreciate and value what we bring to the table.
I want to key in on something you said in the answer to the first question, which I think could be lost to some because it's very nuanced. What you didn't say is we've chosen we had a more expensive model originally. We're a 176-year-old agency. We've been doing things a certain way. We know that it's expensive. We're going to change that model to fit this new idea of technology and becoming a digital agency. You did not say that. What you did say was, we know we had an expensive model. We're actually going to keep the same model because we know that there are huge value drivers in the way that model was built, specifically around community, but we're going to add technology in order to make the model more cost effective. Can you touch on what you mean? Like, dig into that a little more, because it's a nuance, but it's a massive point for people to hear.
Yeah. Period! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
I couldn't have really said it any better. We've enjoyed success for doing business the way we do business, and have enjoyed a high level of retention and new business opportunities by being who we are. And are there benefits to shutting down some offices and consolidating or sending books of business to service centers? I'm sure that there are some economies to scale in doing that. It's something that we have zero interest in doing. And so we see technology as a tool to help us bring the model to today's consumer expectations, and help us do what we do best.
I got to get into something else you brought up, because you talked about a lot of 8 different agencies you bought, and you've got a lot of different staff in different locations. You just brought up the technology piece of it. But there's agencies out there that have a tough time with change management within one location and a small staff in one location. And you talk about spreading that out amongst 8.
Yes.
How in the world did you manage that? As a former agency guy myself, I have a headache just thinking about it. What was your approach on that? What do you think made you so successful in managing that?
Well, first of all, I'll say that one thing that I learned long ago from my previous partners, Bill and Bruce Chalmers, who were brothers who ran this agency for 45 years, is that we're never in a hurry to do anything. We take our time. We're very thoughtful. Some people would like to make a decision and go right on Amtrak and get there in a hurry, and we're kind of sitting in the caboose of the scenic railroad, just kind of taking our time and getting it done. So that has been our philosophy. But I can tell you that for all its negatives, the pandemic for us changed everything, because we did have some technology in place. But when all of a sudden we had to shut down and go home, we realized very quickly that some of the technology that we had adopted beforehand for completely different reasons enabled us to leave on Friday and plug in over the weekend and sign in on Monday and completely run like we were all sitting together in the same building. So a lot of the adoption and the buy-in was done, as part of this, hey, we're in this together. We've got to do this. We've got to dive in and take a chance and leap of faith, and we're all in this together. And let's Zoom every day and talk about what worked and what didn't. And from there, all of a sudden it was like, okay, now we're never going to go back. We're now hybrid. And everybody can enjoy a couple of days at home. We do have a few remote, but for the most part, we're a hybrid organization now. And so buy-in was, hey, this works pretty well, and I can stay home and have a little bit more flexibility. So I'm going to make sure that I stick with this and do what needs to be done to allow us to continue the flexibility of the work environment, and also enjoy this technology. We're not all getting in our cars driving all over the place anymore. We do meet every once in a while in person, but a lot of our meetings are virtual, and that's worked out well.
Yeah. A quick follow up to that. Now that you've gotten to that place where it is adopted and is doing well, is there some specific trainings or anything that you do when you onboard new employees or bring on new agencies that help them to adopt? Do you have some policies in place?
Yeah, it has been. That was kind of another challenge is that, going beyond the pandemic is this hard market that we're in now is running parallel to retirements and new hires. And so, there is a ton of onboarding and orientation and training, and we're all stretched thin because, we all wear a lot of different hats, so it does require a lot of patience, and this is not a good time for us to be micromanaging with all this going on as well. So we do a lot of our onboarding and orientation, not only in person but also remote. We do rely on some digital training. And we also have worked with some consultants who do work both virtually and in person. And so if anything, we've just become frankly a lot more flexible. And we can fit things into a schedule instead of having to take an entire day or two with travel and all this movement to get things done. We can just fit it in as part of the day.
How did you, as a leader of an organization, and I see Vertafore wrestling with this right now because COVID did change a lot. A lot of people got used to remote work, being out, 4 days a week, if not 5 days a week, most weeks, not coming into the office. I think at a leadership level, even our company questions, is that really the most effective environment for our workforce? And now there's almost this balancing effect where, maybe the answer is no, and so you want to ask people to come in, because you do know that there's more collaboration that happens when people meet each other at the water cooler, but also there's a lot of power in the employees' seat to say, well, if you're not going to let me work remotely now that this is my new lifestyle, I'll just go find another job that will, because there's a lot out there that will. How do you balance that as a leader? I mean, because there is, right, I do think there's a benefit to people coming into the office. I mean, I love seeing these guys when I come into Colorado and hanging out with them. We went out to dinner last night. We got to just talk, and there's so much that comes from that. So much more so than sitting on a Zoom call. How do you navigate that as a leader for your agency?
Mm-hmm. Well, great question. First of all, I'm just one of many leaders in this organization. I mean, I really consider a lot of our coworkers to have a hand in that, and the culture and the belief in what makes Chalmers special does include, hey, we want to provide the flexibility of you being at home with a child if they're sick, or if daycare is out, or if you have a ball game to go to in the afternoon. But at the same point in time, what makes our organization special is the connection that we have with community and our clients. And it's something that we really have to buy into. And quite candidly, for coworkers who at a certain point weren't smelling what we were cooking, if they decide that there's a greener pasture, then that it happens. But for the most part, we've doubled down on wanting to welcome and foster that coworker relationship, because they love their coworkers, and they not only do they enjoy the flexibility of being at home, but they love coming to the office and being part of a team and learning together, and they understand how important it is to be accessible to their and personal to the client.
Okay. So I have a comment here, because I'm sorry. How much of your coaching experience trickles over to personal life or even professional life, and how much of your professional life trickles over to coaching? Because I see it. I see how he's talking, and he's talking about teams and giving people their leadership roles, and understanding roles is a big part of coaching. So I'm just curious on that.
No, that's a great question. It really is intermingled, and I feel like I became a better leader at the agency through my coaching, and I've also learned a ton from the personal interactions with my coworkers that I've definitely brought back to the high school level teams, and so it is super important. I mean, buy-in is very important. Telling stories is very important. One of the things that I've done now for, I don't know, I'm guessing it's probably been 8 years or so, is every Monday I record a video over the weekend and publish it on our intranet on Monday morning, every Monday. I've never missed, even on vacation. And basically you kind of bring up topics that impact all of us, and it's client experience, it's culture, it's talking about why we do certain things and why that's important, and making sure that everybody understands their role and how they elevate our agency. So it really is, it's staying in communication, it's telling stories, it's supporting great efforts, it's recognizing and appreciating in real time. And a lot of our managers and supervisors and our owners, it's something that's incredibly important to us and something that we do every day.
Yeah, I love that you have such a focus on culture, and that's one of the things that working here at Vertafore makes us, a successful company to work for, and we have a lot of people that, enjoy working here, and even if they ever do leave, they come back. We call them boomerangs, and because of the culture we have, and it sounds like, obviously it's important to you guys too, and first of all, I love that, and I love that you highlight the different teams. That's one of the things we do at Vertafore. We make sure that we have different groups that we highlight, whether it's demographics or race, or it could be based upon, hobbies or interests and stuff. And so it sounds like you're doing the same thing there. And so, first of all, I appreciate that. And if you're an agency listening, obviously that's a big part of your success. So kudos to you on that.
And he's using technology to do it.
And exactly. And you're using technology to do it. One other quick thing I wanted to ask you about, and then I know, Sid's got a couple other ones maybe, but, it'd be easy, all the things you're talking about, to micromanage and to have a thumb on, because there's a lot of moving parts, technology, change, all the things. And so I'm going to shut up because you're shaking your head right now and you have an answer. Hit me with that. Why did you go that route of we're not going to have the micromanagement, we're not going to put a thumb down? Has that been intentional?
Now I must say that first of all, we want everybody's leadership characteristics to shine and to come through, and some people are at different stages. Do sometimes certain situations require more management than others? 100%. At the same point in time, again, we hope that the coworkers that are here, prospective coworkers, a lot of that vetting process does include a lot of understanding what their leadership characteristics are like, and what their personality characteristics are, and are they going to thrive in an environment where there's not somebody over their shoulder at all times. And I think it's really super important to have individual personality shine through. We might there may be certain standards that we want to uphold as far as what we're all about and what we provide in terms of services and interactions. But at the end of this process, I hope that every one of our clients knows exactly who their account manager is and loves calling in or sending an email and working directly with that individual. I think that's tremendously important as well. So micromanaging doesn't work very well for us.
All right, last question, and then I hate to let you go, but we might have to have a part 2 with Steve, to be totally honest.
Right.
Because I feel like we could deep dive on a couple of these topics. What is one piece of advice that you would give to an agency owner that's listening and wants to invest in technology but doesn't maybe have the confidence to start and doesn't know where to start?
First and foremost, before anything, take the time to understand and appreciate who you are as an organization and where you want to go as an organization. Don't rush into anything. If once you understand that, and through conversations with other agents, understand what types of technology will complement what you're already doing, or what will help what you do will be better. Then you go through and do the vetting, do the demoing, and create processes for that. I think it's super important. The other thing I will say is, we don't have a real large technology division of Chalmers. It's still a small, closely held organization. And so we lean on our vendor relationships to really help us implement the technology. It doesn't work very well for us if they're like, here's the technology, good luck to you. That doesn't work very well for us. So, we end up coming back time and time again saying, hey, we we need more help, we need more guidance, we need more orientation and training. Can you help us? And for the most part, that works out absolutely fine as well. So don't rush into it. Be thoughtful, and we all have a kind of a little bit of a fear or anxiety of the unknown. But I think we found now, hindsight being 2020, that the reward is worth the journey. So that's kind of where we are, and we're still super young in this, and a lot of the technology that we have adopted, we still have a long way to go. But we're very excited about it.
Agency says that.
I was gonna say that is that's amazing for people to hear, and I would just say, Steve, to you, thank you for
100%
taking the first step, because we need agencies who, I guess what you would describe as like legacy agencies to take that first step, right, and to walk into the unknown. So we appreciate you and what you're doing, and spending some time with us today, giving insight and sharing your expertise.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. I would just want him to be my coach now.
Right?
I'm coming to play on the basketball team. I don't even play basketball. I'm a soccer player.
No, I'm so thankful to have had this opportunity. I hope that it's been helpful, and
Yes.
If a part 2 is deemed warranted, all for that. So thank you again for having me.
Man, what a great episode.
Dude, that was fire.
Yeah, you always like those. I always like the ones that give me heartburn, the spicy episodes.
The spicy ones?
Because we got some great guests that we had to share their opinions. We had to get that out there.
Well, and listen, that's not the last great guest we're going to have. We got so many more lined up this season.
You got to come back every single time.
Go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, or make sure that you follow us on your favorite podcast channel.
So come back next week, hang out with us. We got another amazing guest. See you on the next one.